No, don't use the if formula in Excel anymore because now we have the ifs formula, which is a more modern formula. It's meant to replace if. So there's really no need to keep using if. Maybe you are thinking, but I like using if for nested formulas. One if inside another if, inside another if, and so on, so on. Okay, sure, but you don't need to do that anymore because ifs can handle that logic without forcing you to stack one formula inside another formula. Here I have 3 practical examples, so we can learn how to use ifs. And by the way, you can download this Excel file for free because I'm going to leave it in the video description. However, let's start with students' grades. That is the first sheet that I have. And here I need to classify students into 4 different statuses: failed, make up, passed, and excellent. Normally I would solve this with nested if formula, but now I don't need to. I can use ifs and it already solves the problem. So let's do it. Here I have several grades for the students. Let's say test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and so on. You even notice that some grades are a little above 10, like 12, 13, 11. Why did that happen? Because those are extra credit points students earned. But anyway, the important part is here at the end, final average. If the student got a 3.8, let's see, that means failed. So this status cells needs to show failed. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to automate the process using equals ifs. So this is the formula I'm going to use. Double click to select it. The ifs formula is very simple to use. You just enter a logical test, then the result for the test. And I'm clicking the final average because that's what will determine the status. And don't worry, because I'll explain why I'm using the first argument instead of the second or the third, why I start here and not there, and so on. Once I finish the formula, I'll explain the reason behind the order of each argument in the ifs function. If the final average is less than 4, then what does that mean? Comma, open quotations, the student is failed, close quotations. But we are not done yet because there are still more possibilities: make up, passed, and excellent. So let's keep going. Comma, now if the final average is greater than 9, then what? Comma, open quotations, excellent, close quotation marks, comma, is still not done. Let's continue. If the final average is greater than 6, then what does that mean? Comma, the student is, within quotations, passed, close quotations, and comma. Finally, if the final average is greater than 4, then that means the student is, open quotations, make up, close quotations, and close parentheses, hit enter, and it's already working. Now, maybe you are wondering, why did you use the order less than 4, greater than 9, greater than 6, greater than 4? Why didn't you check greater than 6 first and then less than 4? Why did you build it in that order? So, because an Excel formula always reads information from the left to the right. So you might say, but here you use greater than 9, greater than 6, and greater than 4. Wait a second, what if the student got the grade equals to 10? Is 10 greater than 9? Yes. Is 10 greater than 6? Yes. Is 10 greater than 4? Yes too. So how does Excel know whether 10 should be excellent, passed, or make up? And that goes back to what I said earlier. The formula reads from left to right. So if the student got a 10, let's walk through it. Is 10 less than 4? No, so Excel ignores that. Is it greater than 9? Yes, it is. So that's it. It stops right there. It doesn't even read the rest. You could say, but 10 is also greater than 4. Okay, yes, you're right, it's true. 10 is also greater than 4, but it doesn't matter because the formula is done already. Once Excel finds the first true condition, it stops reading the rest. That's why I use this order, because the order matters. Now I can go to the little corner of the formula cell, click, hold, and drag down, and that fills the formula. through all the rows in the sheet. Done. Now the process is automated. Let's go to the next example. Here we have age groups for several people. In this case, patients. We have their ages, and I need to return the age group child, teen, adult, or senior based on this Excel criteria list. How do I solve that? Let's start by eliminating the higher values first. So I can type equals, ifs, and double click it. Logical test. If the age on the left is greater than 60, comma, then open quotations, senior, close quotation marks, comma. If the age is greater than 18, comma, then open quotations, adult, close quotation marks, comma. If the age is greater than 13, comma, then open quotations, teen, close quotations, and comma. Now, what's left? Greater than 0, right? Greater than 0. So here I say greater than 0, comma, open within quotations, right? Child, and close parentheses, and press enter. Then I click the corner and drag down. Oops, we got an error here. Why? Because in the formula, I assumed greater than 0 means child. But there's one detail here. What if the child's age is actually 0? For example, the babe was just born and it's even 1 year old yet. In this case, the age is 0, so 0 doesn't get included. So what do I do here? I use the greater than or equal to symbol. So I need to couple those two symbols. Instead of only greater than 0, I make it greater than or equal to 0. That's it. Because 0 is not greater than 0, but it's equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0. That means now it gets included. And the same logic applies anywhere else too. If I want to include the number itself, I can use greater than or equal to. So I fix the part, press enter, click the corner again, hold and drag down, and done. Now the problem is fixed. Now let's go one last example, commission calculation. Here I have sales totals for different salespeople, and I need to calculate the commission based on this criteria table. Up to 5,000, there is no commission at all. From 5,000.01 to 10,000, it's 2%. Then up to 20,000, it's 4%. Above 20,000, it's 6%. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the last case first, above 20,000. That way I eliminate the top range right away. So I type equals, ifs, and double click it. The logical test is going to be if total sales is greater than, in here, do I need to include equals? No, I don't need to include equals, because if it's exactly 20,000, it should not count as 6%, since the rule says above 20,000. Above means strictly above, not starting at 20,000. So just greater than is correct. So anything greater than 20,000, comma, what do I need to return? 6%. And one important detail here, because we are working with numbers, numbers do not need quotations. So you only need to use quotations if you are typing text. So 6% is very, very fine without quotations, right? Now, not every sale will be greater than 20,000. So comma, if total sales is greater than 10,000, then I return 4%. Comma, if total sales is greater than 5,000, then I return 2%. And now for the last case, if it's none of the previous options, then I can only be no commission. So how should I write that? One option would be if total sales is greater than 0, then no commission. That could work. Or I could say if it's less than 5,000, that also makes sense, okay? But there is an important detail here. It's not just less than 5,000. The rule says up to 5,000. So if it's exactly 5,000, there is still no commission. That means I should use less than or equal to 5,000. So I write that condition if it less than or equal to 5,000, comma, and now yes, because I'm return text. I open quotations and type no commission, close quotation marks, close parentheses, and press enter, and we're done. Why did it return no commission here? Because the sales total was 3,200. Now I can click the corner and drag down to the bottom, and that gives me the commission calculation for the whole list. And you might say, but you left the result as decimals, and I want percentages, right? The formatting still isn't exactly how I want. So what I can do, I can select the whole column, and then on the home tab, I click the percentage symbol, done. That fixes it right away. So now we have no commission, that is a text, or we have percentages, 2%, 4%, 6%, and so on. I really hope you guys, this video can help you a lot to understand how to use the ifs formula in Excel. In my opinion, it's much easier and much faster than building if inside if over and over again. So thanks, and I see you tomorrow because there's a new video every day.